Hello and welcome to National Focus for Friday, September 13, 2024. I am Julian Morris. In the headlines, the judicial system modernized with the e-litigation portal, improved facilities for state college students, and an extended runway at Douglas Charles to end flight cancellations. The details of the headline stories and more when we return.
Ride safe, wear a helmet, safer roads in the nature aisle. This message was brought to you by the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Welcome back. The launch of the e-litigation portal for the Criminal Division of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court and the Magistrates Court marks a significant milestone not only in the administration of justice, but also in the continuous modernization of the legal system.
As President of the Dominica Bar Association, I stand proud of the progressive strides that the court is making towards ensuring that justice remains accessible, efficient, and transparent in our region. The legal profession has long recognized the need to embrace technology as a tool to enhance the delivery of justice and has supported the court in its mission in this regard. Today's launch of the e-litigation portal for the Criminal Division exemplifies that commitment.
The e-litigation portal provides a platform for the digital submission and management of cases, enabling litigants, attorneys, and court personnel to interact with the judicial system more seamlessly and efficiently.
In particular, for the Criminal Division, where the stakes are often highest, timely access to justice can be life-changing. So by harnessing the power of technology, we are ensuring that the administration of justice is now that much less inhibited by the inefficiencies of paper-based systems.
Chief Magistrate Mrs. Candia Caret George says this signifies the start of a significant and transformative journey towards modernizing court services in Dominica.
In keeping with our nation's mandate for climate resiliency and the continuous drive towards digital transformation, we are today taking a monumental step towards full realization of an e-judiciary system in the Eastern Caribbean, specifically with the implementation of the criminal module of the ECSC e-litigation portal. This module is not just a mere upgrade or an added feature to our existing systems. It represents a comprehensive and holistic approach to handling all criminal case types, including traffic matters, parking tickets, and juvenile cases. With this new development, all court matters in Dominica and indeed across the OECS member states and territories will now be filed and managed entirely through this digital portal.
Attorney General Levi Peter believes the e-litigation portal is consistent with a long-held desire of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court to have an efficient, cost-effective, transparent and reliable justice system.
Indeed, the expansion of the e-litigation portal to the Criminal Division of the High Court and to the Magistrates Court is a much-needed and innovative addition to the toolkit of the Eastern Caribbean criminal justice system. Its introduction means that the users of the High Court Criminal Division and the Magistrates Court can now expect to experience the increased efficiency and transparency and accountability, as well as the very important access to justice for all that I am told is generally being experienced by the users of our civil court as a result of the introduction of the e-litigation portal in that branch.
Chief Executive Officer of Dominica Air and Seaport Authority, Benoit Badwill, says the runway extension at Douglas Charles Airport is one of many improvements and other changes which will enable American Airlines with smaller aircraft to operate more efficiently. The Douglas Charles Airport runway has been extended to 1,936 meters, which means that Dominica can now attract larger aircraft and direct flights from New York.
So once we brought American Airlines, we realized that we had some things more work to do. And based on that and the feedback from them, then we started work almost immediately to try to see how we could improve on that. So more runway to increase the probability and safety of landing from the sea. That is one of the aspects that we looked at, because obviously Dominica is challenged given its terrain from the mountain end. So we were looking at how can we give ourselves an opportunity to lengthen the runway so that landing from the sea becomes safer and a greater possibility for us to use larger size equipment at that runway.
Part of the task was to improve payload ability and the potential range for departure.
Some of you may have experience where we had people had to stay down, or your bags probably did not fly because of load. When the airline checked out the load, it cannot go because of the length of the runway. For takeoff, they had weight restriction. They call it weight restriction. So sometimes, yes, you have 70 seats, but they could then say it's now 65 seats because they're doing weight restriction. So they can only take on 65 persons, and they can only take a certain amount of fuel because of the fact of the length of the runway. And so we suffered with seat loss in that aspect as well. So some of you could not travel on certain days where they say, well, the plane have seats. Yeah, but they were doing weight restrictions, and that's why you could not get onto that aircraft.
The DASPA CEO says Dominica experienced a number of flight cancellations due to the issue surrounding the length of the runway towards the sea.
Many times persons were en route to Dominica. They could see Dominica through on the aircraft, very close, and then they had to go around and then all the way back, sometimes to Puerto Rico, sometimes to Antigua, sometimes all the way back to Miami. And that happened for probably over 30 times. And that adversely affected the tourism industry. Those of you who are here from the tourism industry experienced many lost nights in terms of those cancellations.
Prior to extending the runway westwards to increase landing distance, a weekend activity planned for Jungle Bay Resort and Spa had to be cancelled after the aircraft turned away.
I remember Sam Raphael calling out to me and saying, boy, is there anything that we can do? We're going to lose that. And, you know, we couldn't do anything at that point. They had to cancel and had that thing in Miami. So these are some of the things, if you can recall, that we were suffering from. And Minister had to find a solution. She brought her team, as she told you, together to be able to start looking at how can we make that change to find a solution for that.
CEO of the International Airport Development Company, Samuel Johnson, says it's unprofitable for any airline to travel to Dominica only to find that upon arrival it cannot land due to runway limitations. To date, that scenario has played out at Douglas Charles Airport, resulting in about 30 flight cancellations.
This is some of the examples, and this is just one. I took a snapshot of a few of them, just so you get an appreciation for a pilot in the plane and passengers in the plane trying to land in Douglas Charles. So you're looking at the plane, and this one was on a aborted landing. It went back to, this is another example again. And this is not a kindergarten school child with crayons drawing. This is passengers and on a plane trying to land in Dominica after a 3-hour flight from Miami, right? And this one had to go to Antigua to then come back.
The mission is to ensure that Dominica's relationship with American Airlines will seamlessly transition to the international airport upon its completion.
Another one again, right? Where you're going around in circles. This one had to go to San Juan and then come back. So it's very, very real what it is. And from the new international airport perspective, one of the things that we want to ensure is that the relationship we have with American Airlines, we want to keep it. So American Airlines is one airline we don't want to have to talk to come to Dominica when the new airport is opened. We already have them here. So the mission really for us is to keep it, one. Two, to grow it. How do we get more flights?
Flight cancellations translate to losses for travel and the travel and tourism industry, and Dominica's efforts are focused on eliminating those cancellations.
When you have a full passenger load, fly all the way from Miami, circle around how many times, you know what the fuel burn on this aircraft is, go over to Antigua, and then come back. You just eat your margins ridiculously. And as I say repeatedly, American Airlines is in the business of business. Anybody who is in business and you realize you're spending more than you're making, why would you keep doing that, right? So it's very critical that we keep the relationships that we have and grow.
Students at the Dominica State College were welcomed back for the new semester with new and improved facilities. The college was severely destroyed by Hurricane Maria in 2017, leaving the institution infrastructurally compromised. Since then, government has been undertaking rehabilitation works at the college to restore the building to a safe and comfortable standard for staff and students.
We had the renovation of blocks A and B of the lower campus, which are classroom blocks. Where we are currently, the administrative block, this renovation had started before the administrative offices. This has started before, but during the summer, in earnest, the project to restore blocks A and B took place, as well as the N buildings, which are across the street from the upper campus, which houses our technical courses primarily.
The renovations are expected to elevate the learning experience of students enrolled at the college.
The learning environment was greatly improved through the renovation work that occurred over the summer. Essentially, you want learning to happen in a nice, comfortable space, a space that looks good and feels good. And after Hurricane Maria, we really had not been able to provide that a lot of the times. But with the new and improved classrooms, we also received a good donation of furniture as well. So we definitely saw a nice improvement.
Government, through the Ministry of Education, has proven to be a major source of support to the rehabilitation of the Dominica State College.
This particular project that I referenced of the restoration of blocks A and B and the N buildings was funded by the government of Dominica. Prior to that, there was the restoration of block C of the lower campus, also done by the government of Dominica. So it has definitely been a great impact that the government has had on the Dominica State College through facilitating these renovative works.
Government has not only supported the college in its rehabilitation, but has also facilitated the education of students.
I have seen great collaboration just recently, for instance, with the Ministry of Education. The Minister of Education noticed that we have a littering issue on campus, and she collaborated with the Minister of Environment to donate some bins to the State College. We've also been in discussion with the Minister of Environment, for instance, about facilitating some recreational spaces for our students, some gazebo spaces. So all of these collaborative efforts with the government will enhance the learning experience of our students.
You are watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. Minister for Tourism, the Honorable Denise Charles Pemberton, says port facilities are no longer adequate for the growing size of vessels and the number of cruise ships docking here. The minister says there are plans to significantly improve the infrastructure.
This congestion leads to a suboptimal visitor experience. I'm excited to announce that the government is getting closer to finalizing an agreement for the development of a new cruise facility. I know you're saying you're hearing that often and we keep mentioning it, but we are getting closer and very, very close.
The new facility will feature modern amenities and the capacity to accommodate larger vessels, meaning more guests and more opportunities.
This also means more jobs and economic growth for Dominica. Of course, this will take time to complete. In the meantime, we plan, and I want you to listen to that, this is very important because that is going to resolve an existing issue we have in receiving certain vessels. We plan to extend the pier in Roseau as the first phase of our infrastructure upgrade.
The completion of this project is expected to translate into a more satisfying visitor experience and increased business for stakeholders.
This will increase our berthing capacity and create a more comfortable environment for passengers as they disembark. Happier visitors spend more, and more visitors mean more economic benefits for all of us. We know these investments will directly impact your earnings, and I look forward to having further consultations to discuss how we can take the cruise industry to the next level. Your input will be invaluable to finalizing our plans.
The tourism minister says adhering to strict quality standards will ensure that Dominica consistently offers an excellent experience to visitors. The Adult Education Division provided an opportunity for the public on Friday to acquire free reading material. Today's book fair forms part of Adult Education Month activities.
Reading is part of our daily lives. Everything we do, everywhere we go, we read signs, we go to the supermarket, we need to read what we see. And from as early as possible, we know reading is our foundation. Yeah. So the Adult Education Division have realized that there is this need for people to read more. And we, as you may know, that our base is literacy, which we promote and which we encourage. And because we celebrate this week is Sunday was International Literacy Day, Sunday the 8th. So this week we continue with activities, and this is one of the things that we do.
Mrs. White says the goal is to encourage the public to read as much as possible. The book giveaway was limited to 2 persons, or rather 2 books per person. The public also played an important role in the success of the book fair by supporting the event.
I was upstairs and a man came. You want books? Let me tell you, I have 1,000 books, and I need my father books, and I need to get rid of the books. I need to give away the books, and people. That's what we get. People just come in, they volunteer. We just make bags and boxes and barrels, and we just collect. We go out in our districts. People call us, we go, we pick them up, we bring them in, and we organize them, we give them back to the public, just to encourage that reading habit.
Over 360 participants in the division's training courses will receive certificates of completion at their graduation ceremony on the 18th of September.
We are going to highlight their achievements, and this is a normal thing we do every year. Every year we have recognized our participants, and we provide them with certificates. So they have taken part in our academic programs, our skills training programs, a range of skill training programs.
Coming up next, the Creole News Highlights with Jeno Jacob.
Bienvenue à ce nouvel en créole, non monsieur Jeno Jacob. Gouvernement Dominique longe runway basse avion Douglas Charles. Ministère touriste et puis d'autres officiers visitaient basse avion Douglas Charles semaine là. Chef officier d'ASPA, M. Benoît Badwil, de nous raisonnons pour projet ça là.
En place Douglas Charles, il y a autant la pluie, et avec l'église la pluie, avion pas qu'à venir, il a viré. So, ça pas bon pour business touriste parce que là où ni on l'hôtel avec ou espérer monde avec flight là cancel qu'on a dit, il pas venir ou l'hôtel là qui perd de l'argent avec ça fait plus que 30 fois Dominica American Airlines ni pour vivre sur l'Amérique, Antilles, Puerto Rico, avec moun ni pour venir l'autre jour. Mais en plusieurs temps, moun quand ils changent l'idée, ils pour venir encore. Et ça, nous parlons ça continuer bitin ça, le gouvernement mettait tout bitin en règle et trouver permission de ECA avec à présent nous avons servi runway tout job là fini à présent avec runway fini.
Monsieur Badou dit nous raison pour longer runway.
À présent, Gloire pas rester assis à runway. Gloire a sorti parce que nous coupons comme un petit drain. Et nous faisons ça pour 6350 pieds. Tout ça, nous groove ça. So à présent, nous avons dit à présent comme que nous travaillons assis. Si nous avons tapé l'autre avion pour venir, pour ça servir Dominique pour l'Amérique directe. Et c'est ça que nous avons fait à présent, nous avons parlé, nous avons réunion avec eux parce que nous voulons pour venir Dominique. Et puis nous savons, tout le monde Dominique et puis tout le monde qui voulait visiter Dominique, les vignes direct avec nous avons fait manœuvre pour servir Douglas Charles pour faire ça. So, nous avons plusieurs monde là, ils voient pourquoi eux-mêmes en American Airlines descendent, ils landent à Douglas Charles. Ils tenaient l'appli, ils tenaient autant de l'eau, mais ils still land parce que avant ils étaient cancel, mais à présent ils sont land.
Il dit officier gouvernement était content pour voir progrès.
Nous étions contents pour recevoir ces gens-là, les enfants de l'école, mon business, mon hotel association, pour savoir pourquoi vraiment. Nous avons fait travail assis Douglas Charles. Avec nous aussi nous parlé avec M. Johnson là pour il parlait aussi contre International Airport là développement qui a pris place. So nous avons autant d'informations pour ça aller et puis dire d'autres monde comme que ça y ouais et puis ça y autant.
Ministre Tourisme Honorable Dennis Charles Pemberton dit gouvernement ni plan pour longer cruise ship berth là en Ozo. Facilité a pas assez pour accommoder bateaux touristes qui vont venir Dominique. Le gouvernement a travaillé pour mener plus de touristes Dominique. Le ministre touriste a fait préparation pour la saison touriste 2124 pour 2125. Mois septembre, c'est mois Adult Education, une activité qui prend place. Jude Williams, officier Adult Education, dit nous plie.
So, nous avons pile activité comme church service, graduation, the street fair, literacy day. Et puis, semaine ça c'est semaine literacy. Et jeudi c'est book fair. Nous avons book fair jeudi à office là. C'est tous les jours, tous les années. Sorry, nous avons ça. Nous avons pile livres, romance novels, livres d'éducation, toute qualité de livres. Puis nous avons demandé au public là pour venir, pour garder les livres nous, et puis ils sont allés et puis en livre.
Ça, c'est tout à ce nouvelle en créole. Changer qui nous en saison cyclone, continuez à faire préparation aujourd'hui. Non, monsieur Geno Jacob, ni un bon week-end. Au revoir.
Thank you, Geno. And now for today's weather advisory. Moisture and instability associated with a tropical wave was expected to affect the island late this afternoon and tonight. Increasingly cloudy skies with scattered showers, which could be moderate at times, and the possibility of thunderstorms. People in areas prone to flooding, landslides and falling rocks are advised to be on alert and to exercise caution. Sea conditions are expected to remain slight to moderate, with the wave heights reaching up to 5 feet over the next few days. Tropical Depression number 7 was upgraded to a tropical storm at 11 a.m. The National Hurricane Center is issuing advisories on Tropical Storm Gordon, located in the central Atlantic. This system is expected to remain over water and does not pose any direct threat to Dominica at this time. Additionally, the National Hurricane Center continues to monitor an area of low pressure with a low chance of development located near the northern Leeward Islands. And now for today's hurricane tip. Trim trees and shrubs to reduce property damage during high winds. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Julian Morris. Thanks for watching.